specifically saying that there was a single motherhood problem in the Black community. So I thought that's what we were talking
You
about.
think there isn't?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Also,
so
according to the 2022 census,
75.5% of white kids
Also,
are in two-parent households. You have Asians at 87.4%, Hispanic at 61.9%, and then Black at 37%. You think that has nothing to do with anything?
Black at 37, what, Black 37 double parent household or single parent household?
Two-parent household.
Okay.
All other communities are at least above 50%.
Okay. What's your point?
My point with that is that's going to affect literally everything. Crime, financial situations.
Based on
all
what?
these points that you guys are addressing, and saying that that's just racism. What I'm trying to tell you is it's not racism. And I know I'm probably going to get banned for saying this, but it's probably something to do with that society as itself.
So it's something to do with Black society, not systemic racism.
I would say not even Black society. I wouldn't even say that. I would say, I don't even know how I'd word this. Native African Americans who are here versus, yeah, I'll just go with that because there's a huge different statistic for immigrants who come here from Africa.
Yeah. Okay, great. So what people are arrested for drug crimes at the highest percentage?
I feel like it's going to be African Americans, and I feel like you're going to agree.
70%.
Oh, it's 70%. Okay, whoa.
70%.
I was assuming the reason you were asking that was because you were trying to lead me into saying that. No, but real quick before we jump to the crime rate, I would ask you if there is systemic oppression based off racism, why is it that Africans who immigrate here do better than Native African Americans?
It's much easier to do better when you come to a place willingly than if you are of a people that were forced into a place.
Have you ever immigrated?
You're saying immigration is harder than being forced to a place? Wait. I need to hear that again. Are you saying it's harder to immigrate?
It's so much more
than it is
easier than it is to be.
It is easier to immigrate.
Is probably 10 times more difficult than it is if you're born here, right? Maybe I would agree with you if we were looking at generations back, but we're looking at generations who have been here for literally generations.
If we have to do a whole history lesson, I can explain why for Black people living here, it is going to be exponentially harder than Black people who immigrate to the country. I can explain that pretty easily.
So
if we want a whole history lesson.
What would that be then? If it isn't racism, what is it?
It is racism. What's the current wealth gap between Black households and white households?
What's the current?
Yes.
You tell me.
So for white households, the median wealth is around $171,000. For Black households, the median wealth is around $9,000.
What was the Black household?
$9,000.
Okay.
That's the median wealth currently, as per the last census data that we have. That's the median wealth. Okay. Now, if you exist as a group whose median wealth is $9,000 per the U.S. Census, right? How do you expect this group to afford proper education, afford proper housing, afford proper medical care? How do they do that?
Based off 9K?
Based off the median wealth of $9,000.
If I had not, so I want to just make sure we're in an agreement. Are you when you say $9,000, do you mean that is their income, or that's just how much their change they have? That's just what their net value is?
Wealth is an overall accumulation of income mixed with assets, mixed with what you have in the bank. That's all combined to determine your wealth.
Okay. So I can use anecdotal experience then. Because I don't have $9,000. I have maybe $2,000. I barely make anything.
Hold on. What are you talking about? You can use anecdotal experience. I'm talking about the median. I'm talking about actual numbers.
So you're asking me,
not
how do you expect them to survive? So I'll give you an example, right? How do I survive? Because I'm in that same situation. I don't eat out. I literally barely eat. And when I do eat out, I don't pay for it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. For education, I have no fucking clue how I'm gonna afford education. No idea. Probably going to take a student loan, which if you're African American, you have affirmative action.
White Americans receive the bulk of need-based and scholar-based student loans.
I mean, I would agree with that because they're a higher population.
But they receive it in higher excesses to their population.
They also have affirmative action for African Americans, and
affirmative action predominantly helps white women.
More likely to get a loan when it comes to education if you are African American. That's why the whole
meme, that's not true. White people receive the
There's a reason why they put the meme where put a they them Native American. That's a freaking meme. That's why
your job in the military requires you to put your life on the line. What's that?
No, not every job, but if the military says, "Hey, I need you to go here," you don't have a choice. Therefore, your life is on the line. Because I'll tell you right now, we're not in a time of war, so most military members are not worried about it. But if we enter a time of war, who do you think's getting sent? Because it ain't gonna be you. I guarantee that.
Of course not. I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me enough to fight for this country because I don't care enough.
Well, God bless your soul if you get drafted.
I'm not going to get drafted. First of all, drafting's immoral, but that's beyond the point.
I would say,
So,
I think everyone in the country should at least serve 2 years, because
I think that's
the
ridiculous.
reason why you don't have people who are fucking,
We're not a fascist state. I'm not going to serve the military if I don't want to,
okay.
unless you want us to be fascist.
I don't want us to be fascist, but I
Then
definitely
you can't
will
force. Then saying that you want to force everybody into the military is ridiculous.
Community.
Why would you say you want to force everyone to serve 2 years in the military if you're not fascist?
Because there is a sense of pride and community in your country when you have served it. He's going to pivot again now. I'm just talking because I'm a little tipsy.
Or if we look at drug arrests, white people make up 70% of all drug arrests, but only make up 20% of people in prison on drug charges. Meanwhile, black people only make up 20% of drug arrests. However, they make up 70% of people in prison on drug charges. Why is that disparity so high when we know that in their communities, black people and white people use these drugs at around the same rate? And we know that even when they're arrested for the same drug and the same charge, white people go to prison for less time than their black counterparts, even within the same socioeconomic areas.
Do they have different lawyers? Do they have
Same socioeconomic areas. They're both in the same socioeconomic.
Do they argue against other defendants? Do they stand trial or not argue, but stand trial against other defendants? Is there more nuance to their situations than just their race in each individual case?
They are from the same socioeconomic areas. I've already explained that.
Okay, so you could be from the same socioeconomic place. Do you think they maybe argued against other defendants or cooperated with people?
No, we're looking at the same charges with the same sort of parameters around them. And you can even look on the U.S. Sentencing Bureau and see that even when we look at
Do
these,
you have a case example?
I don't have a specific case example, but you can go to the U.S. Sentencing
You
Bureau.
don't have an
and actually,
example. Got it.
I'm answering you. I'm literally answering you.
Right, you're
But
just
you interrupted.
overall, which
You
is-
interrupted when I was giving you a source. You interrupted when I was giving you my source.
So you have like a general consensus, but you don't have a specific example.
When you go,
a different level or something that is unfair. It would be a byproduct of racism. You don't just have a bunch of disparities and be like, well, that's due to racism. There's multiple factors that it could be due to. That is my whole point of even arguing this. You are just trying to say, oh, it's racism. It's because they are this color. It's like, no, there's so much more factors to it than just what the skin color is. And
Right. I'm glad you have the ability to
assume that
Google
all
disparity in the middle of
the disparities of today are not due to racism, are probably due to other factors. For example, when it comes to crime, why is a certain group of people committing more crime?
They're not.
They are. When
They're not.
When a low population is committing like 50% of our murder rate, yeah, they are. Because murder.
So when it comes to one specific category of crime, specifically like murder, yes, there's a higher proportion of black people getting arrested for murder. But black people are also most likely, yes, when you look at the UCBR, which is the stat you're getting, 1350, that's arrest
murder
records.
is
Don't
the
it?
basis
arrest
for the rest
records.
of the crimes.
No, it's not. That's not how we read the UCBR.
Anyway,
No,
as I
that's
was
not how
saying,
you read the
what
UCBR.
you are trying to say is that everything is due to race. And what I'm trying to say is, hey, not everything's due to race. Anyone in this country, regardless of what you believe, can make something of themselves.
I haven't said anything.
Regardless
Every
of
time
their
we get 50% of the way through my argument,
some
you pivot
reason-
to something else. So it's not like I've really said
I'm just
anything.
ignoring you at this point.
I know it must be easy to ignore when you don't.
Anyway, I'm half tipsy, so I don't have the nerve to debate this shit anymore. But the reason why I don't care for this argument, and I will disprove it when I'm sober, I'll argue this shit all the time, is what you do is you find a disparity, literally every disparity, and you say, well, that's due to race. And I'm saying there are a million other factors that it could be due to. It isn't just someone's race, because when you have a generation growing up and all they see is systemic oppression, racism, what chances do they have growing up? Like, come on. Y'all are fighting for your own oppression. You literally are. Drink some water. I'll drink water. No, because we're just talking over each other and we're running in circles. And it's like, I have better things to do in my time than, oh shit, I actually have to get ready for something. You ran away scared. I'm still here. I'm dealing with all my wokies right now. You can't read statistics. I can read statistics. Run with your L. I love how white people love to tell black people how oppressed they are. I love how all of y'all like to love systemic racism. Because I believe anyone in this country, regardless of what your race is, regardless of what your gender is, you can do something and make something of yourselves. All you need to be equipped with is the basic education of financial institutions, taxes, all these other economic stuff that, regardless of skin tone, most people don't even know. Well, you're wrong. White supremacist. At what point have I said white people are better than African Americans? I will never say that because it's not true. I don't think anyone is better than anyone.
Dude.